His Grace, Krishna Gaur Prabhuji. Prabhuji, are you there?
Yes, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Krishna Gaur from Gaur and Gaur.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you for Prabhu for giving your association. Today's book is Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 4 to 4, fourth canto, 12th chapter 13. Prabhuji, please take over the call, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. I'd like to welcome all the devotees who have assembled for morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 38. The chapter is entitled as Raj Goes Back to Godhead, verse number 13. Sattrimasat Varshasasnam Shashasa Shiti Mandalam Bhoge Punyashayam Kurvan Abhoger Ashubhashayam. Word-to-word translation. Shatrimsat 36 Varsha years Sahasram 1000 Shashasha rule Shiti Mandalam the planet Bhoge by enjoyment Punya of reactions of pious activities Shayam diminution Kurvan doing Abhoge by austerities Ashub of inauspicious reactions Shayam diminution. Translation and purport by Sivange Abhay Chana Ravind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Dhruv Maharaj ruled over the planet for 36,000 years. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment and by practicing austerities. He diminished inauspicious reactions. Purport. That Dhruv Maharaj ruled over the planet for 36,000 years means that he was present in the Satya Yuga because in the Satya Yuga, the people used to live for 100,000 years. In the next Yuga, Treta, people used to live for 10,000 years. And in the next Yuga, Dwapar, for 1,000 years. In the present age, the Kali Yuga, the maximum duration of life is 100 years. With the change of the Yugas, the duration of life and memory, the quality of kindness and all other good qualities diminish. There are two kinds of activities, namely pious and impious. By executing pious activities, one gains facilities for higher material enjoyment, but due to impious activities, one has to undergo severe distress. A devotee, however, is not interested in enjoyment or affected by distress. When he is prosperous, he knows I am diminishing the results of my pious activities, and when he is in distress, he knows I am diminishing the reaction of my impious activities. A devotee is not concerned with enjoyment or distress. He simply desires to execute devotional service. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that the devotional service should be apratihata, unchecked by the material conditions of happiness or distress. The devotee undergoes processes of austerity such as observing Ekadashi and similar other fasting days and refraining from illicit sex life, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Thus, he becomes purified from the reactions of his past impious life, and because he engages in the devotional service, which is the most pious activity, he enjoys life without separate endeavor. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सत्रिंशत् वर्ष सहस्रम शासस शीति मंडलम भोगे पुण्यशयम कुर्वन् अभोगेर अशुभ क्षयम. Dhruva Maharaj ruled over this planet for 36,000 years. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment, and by practicing austerities, he diminished inauspicious reactions. In this verse, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning how a devotee does not aspire either for good pious activities or to speak of inauspicious activities. So, a devotee of Lord is only interested in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport about the different life which people had, the duration of life in Satyuga in purport, Satyuga, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali. It's mentioned in the first canto, Prayan Alpayusha Sadhya, Kalavachmin Vijayana, Manda Samanda Matayo, Manda Bhagyahi Patitaha. One of the most significant detail about Kali Yuga is people have a short life. They only not have short life, but they have short memories. So it's very much important that we daily hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada also translates Nityam Bhagavati Seva as daily sitting in Bhagavatam class, hearing Bhagavatam from devotees, and in association of devotees. First and foremost, 52 verses, the 12th chapter, and in the end, I'll first mention the end, then I'll come to the chapter in detail. From the verse 44 to 52, there is Shruti. What are the results we'll be getting? So devotees of Lord, if you see, they're from any of Vaishnava Sampradayas, whether it is from Sri Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, the emphasis is on hearing the Lord. Not only in Vaishnava Sampradaya, but even in all the Vedic, different Sampradayas, which are connected to even, impersonalism. The hearing is so much emphasized. And here, in the 44th verse, it is mentioned that the Dhruva he very much like to hear about the glories of Lord. And from the verse 45th to 47th of this chapter, one who hears this pastime, I'm mentioning this before because maybe the interest to hear will increase. So one who will hear this pastime of this 12th chapter will get wealth, fame, longevity, heaven, a Dhruva pure bhakti, if the dedication is deep and very intense, pure bhakti, the greatness in this material world, all the good qualities one can even dream and aspire for, the power and the respect, and which we are most interested in, all our sins and miseries will be diminished just by sincerely hearing the Katha of Dhruva Maharaj. And then from verse 48 to 50, mentioned in this chapter, the way of reciting the story is, first, one should recite with great attention and care. That's my part. Second, in a society of brahmanas or other choice-born persons, or you can translate that in a society of people who are aspiring for spiritual life. Third, our speaker should give this talk without taking any remuneration. Fourth, and the third part which Srila Prabhupada very much emphasized for pure devotional service, ahitukiya pratiyata, without any stop or without any break, and ahituki, without any other desires. Fourth is by the persons who have taken shelter of the Lord. And fifth, before a favorable audience. And when to recite, it said that best timings are in the morning and evening. Your part it is morning, my part it is evening. So both are getting full benefit of this Harikatha. No doubt should be there in our mind. And they are mentioned during full moon, Dwadashi, Sayades, or at the end of month or on Sunday. Result of such chanting, result of such glorifications of the Srimad Bhagavatam, what will it bring? It will bring perfect life to both the reciter and the audience. And 51st verse describes that even if someone is aspiring for some material desires, or he wants something from demigod, all the demigods will bless that devotee, that hearer who is hearing Dhruva Katha. 52nd verse is the conclusion wherein the speaker is mentioning that I have spoken about famous Dhruva, who as a child gave up home and toys to shape shelter of Lord Vishnu. Now this is the most difficult task for any person who is doing parenting, who is taking care of kids, to make him give up toys and give up home and take complete shelter of Lord Vishnu. That's next to impossible. And we are not expecting that thing to happen in our society, at least for present moment. But what at least we can take inspiration from Dhruva Maharaj is at the age of 5, when hardly anyone knows how to even keep himself clean and neat so that he can be presentable. At such age, Dhruva perfects his life. That's why Dhruva's story is there in the Bhagavatam. Any person's story, who especially is a devotee, if the story is coming in Bhagavatam, one has to understand they are great souls, they are Mahabhagavata, they are great devotees. So they are full of inspiration for the devotees. So in this chapter, if you see, there are like 5 sections or 6 sections. One section we already spoken, that is from verse 44 to 52nd with the Falashruti. I told you before what we are going to get after hearing this. So there is a lot of interest developed. There was, let's just tell a story. There was one person who was traveling a train, and he was very much, very good dressed, nicely dressed. He was looking very gentleman, and he sat on a train in the railway train, AC coach. Then the ticket checker comes and asks him for ticket. The moment he hears that, he was not prepared for that. He starts seeing in his pocket, starts seeing in briefcase, bag, and everywhere. He's not able to find his ticket. So when he turns around at the passenger, and when the ticket checker sees his face, he says, "You are a very renowned person, you are a very famous person, you are a very respected person. There is no need, sir, for you to show the ticket. I know you must have bought a ticket. You have ticket, no need, sir." When the ticket checker he goes through whole train, doing his duty, comes back like 45 minutes later, and he sees that person is still searching the ticket and still trying to find out where is his ticket, where he has misplaced it. Then the ticket checker tells, "So I told you already, there's no need to continue this. I know you have got the ticket, there's no need to show. I have full faith on you, trust on you, don't do this." Then he says, "It's not that I'm searching ticket for showing you, I'm searching ticket to understand where I have to get down. So I have forgotten which station I have to get down." Similarly, when you started this wonderful human life journey, you're traveling human life is like a first class coach. All other lives are like general. There's the experience of Indian Railways doing a correlate with it. So it's like a general dabba, wherein any number of people can come. There is no rules that 500 people should get in general dabba. Even 5 lakh people come, if they want to get in that general course, there is no rule that people will stop them. So such is crowded. So in beastly beings, in animal body or in another body, it's very troublesome. It's not so easy to get the mercy of devotees, practice devotional life. The human form of life we can practice, but one has to understand where is the final destination. So for understanding where is the final destination, person has to understand where he is situated now. And then if he buys the ticket buying is like chanting of the holy names, and starting his journey is like an association of devotees, and the destination all we want to go is our own village or our own Dham, Vrindavan. So the first section is from verse 1 to 9 in this chapter, wherein Kuvera giving instruction and benediction to Dhruva. So in the first verse, Kuvera understands that Dhruva's anger is subsided. Now he's calm, he's cool, there seems to be no anger on his face, everything is settled down. All the revenge which he had in mind, he has avenged it, he has done it. So now Kuvera comes and speaks to Dhruva. And in the second verse, he says, "Oh, sinless one, Anaga. Oh, Dhruva, you are Anaga. I am pleased by that you have given up enmity." This is very difficult to avoid. In this world, we understand And if you know the present scenario and the current affairs of India, what's happening, you can understand from the last 70 years we have some entity which is like anagha or which is like enemy, and it's very difficult to give up from both the sides. So from here we can understand that very, very difficult for one to forget the past or for one to give up the anger, for one to give up the person who has killed our relatives. So here you can understand that Kuwar has addressed Dhruva as sinless. Why did uh, he do that? Because Dhruva might have thought himself otherwise. Because he has just killed so many yakshas. So Dhruva might be going through, guilt or repentance, or he might be feeling that I've done so much of things, I have unnecessarily killed so many people. So Kuvera is reassuring him. Kuvera is telling him, you are anagha, you are sinless. And in the third verse he says that you are not the cause of killing yakshas, neither yakshas are the cause of killing your brother, Chandravan. Time is the ultimate cause. Time is the ultimate cause of both creation and destruction. So in this world, we understand that everything, the most powerful thing in this world is time. So time creates and time destroys. So, there are many causes, but the ultimate cause is time. And Kuvera further tells Dhruva that we have to give up this bodily conception of life, I and you, aham tvam. Aham tvam is like a dream. It is a product of ignorance and misconceived intelligence, apartha dhira. It is the cause of our repeated birth and death. It is bondage and misery. The aham mameti or the aham tvam, I and you, which leads to more bondage and more misery. And in from 5th verse to the 6th verse, the qualities of Lord is mentioned. The first word which strikes me is adokshasam. Lord is beyond our sensory perception. So many people, atheistic people on this earth, which don't have much faith, they keep asking, where is the Lord? Can I see him? Can we see him? Can we vision him? One has to understand the Lord is beyond sensory perception. Even when we are chanting, and there are people, this is about the materialistic people who are atheistic in nature. There's one person who was driving in a car and on a highway in US, and somehow he loses the balance and he falls from a cliff. And it's night, 2 o'clock, it's dark, it's winter time in US. He somehow holds on to one of the roots of the tree. And he was a devout Christian to believe in Lord, and he started praying intensely and he said, oh Lord, please save me. So at that very moment, the inner voice from him came out as, please leave the hand. He was feeling that he may have connected wrong person or there is some miscommunication. He again prays, oh Lord, please help me. Oh Lord, please help me. Please save me. Please save me. The voice comes out as, please leave the hand. So this keeps coming throughout the night. And this person is doubtful whether this word is of, of Lord or someone else, and does not leave the hand. Does not give up that route. And when the morning when the police comes there and they see the whole situation, he's frozen, he's dead, and they see ground and they see his body and they say, he's just 6 feet above the earth. Why on the earth he did not leave the hand? So that's what faith is required. Faith on Lord is required. Until and unless we don't have faith that Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, his body is not material, we will not be able to. The first and the foremost, kindergarten studies is for any Vaishnava is to understand that Lord's body is not of Maya. For any spirituality. So there is a school of thought in India, which is Mayavad philosophy, which says that when Krishna speaks Gita, they themselves say in their commentaries that Krishna speaks Gita to bring Arjuna from illusion to the reality, or from illusion to the Brahma platform. And in the Gita, there are 20 different names of Arjuna mentioned and 33 different names of Krishna is mentioned. They say that Lord's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, which we preach, they are all matter of illusion. But when the whole Gita is meant for persons like Arjuna to bring from illusion to reality, to Brahma realization, then how can that same names be mentioned so many different times in different names? Lord's name. Lord's name is not a product of illusion. Lord's name is adokshism. Lord's name is achyuta. Lord's name is uh, full of purity. A person who chants Lord's name is purified. And Lord is mentioned also in this verse, fifth verses, Sarvabhutana. He is the superson of all living entities. And then he has a vigraham. He has a transcendental form. Just last month we had visited Tirupati and then we saw the beautiful darshan of Lord Balaji. One who sees Balaji darshan in Tirupati and Sri Ranganath Swami and Sri Radha Krishna Vigraha all over India, how can, even if he is a big scholar of so-called tattva, impersonalistic tattva, will not fall in love with the deities? How he can still continue saying that Lord does not have a form? Very inconceivable for devotees to understand how they cannot understand the fact that Lord is person. And here, one more verse is mentioned is Bhajana Angriham. His lotus feet are worshipable. His lotus feet are worshipable. It's mentioned in the Bhagavatam that when one of the kalpas, when there was like annihilation till Swargaloka, and there was only one living entity who was swimming across on the earth. There was Markandeya Rishi. And Markandeya Rishi comes to a place where there was a banyan tree, and on the banyan tree there was Lord Gopal's childhood form, and he was taking his lotus feet and putting in mouth. So, mentioned Acharya felt that Lord was trying to understand what is there, what is the sweetness of my feet, what is the significance of my lotus feet, that everyone wants to take shelter, anyone wants to take shelter at my lotus feet. Lord was trying to understand the you know, the glory of his own lotus feet. So one who is a devotee of Lord, he is always trying to do bhajana angriyam. He is trying to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. So in our Vedic culture, feet is where we try to feed the elders. Even to the elders, we touch their feet. We take blessings from there. Elders, we try to see them from the feet and move upwards to the face. Similarly, when we take darshan of the Lord, it has to be done in that same form. There's a favorite pastime wherein when Lord Ranganath's Utsamurtis were being taken on a palanquin and on a palaki for a yatra in Srirangam, all the devotees, thousands of devotees were behind Utsamurti of Ranganath Swami. One person who was holding an umbrella was seen in a different direction. So Ramanacharya waited for a minute and tried to understand what is this happening. The whole world is in this direction, and why this person is moving in a very opposite direction. Then he goes towards that person and asks him, "Why are you doing this?" He says, "I have seen the most beautiful eyes in the creation of this lady, and I'm very much impressed by her eyes, and I'm fully focused on seeing her beautiful eyes." So Ranganath, Sripad Ramanacharya says, "If I show you the eyes which are more beautiful, more enchanting than the eyes which you have seen just now, will you serve that person?" He says, "Of course, I'm lover of eyes. If a person shows me better eyes than this, definitely I'll serve him." So then Sripad Ramanacharya ji calls him in the evening. And if you see in South India, most of the temples, they will there are lamps with three lamps, and in that, light of that lamp, the Lord's darshan is taken. And when he's taken there, Dashwati, what is his name? Bhanoja. And from his lotus feet, he starts taking darshan, lotus feet, and then the calf, then thighs, then the navel, then the beautiful chest, then the neck, then the jaw, then the beautiful mouth, then nose. And when his darshan, when his eyes falls on darshan of Lord's eyes, it fully becomes absorbed in seeing Lord's darshan and says, "I want to take, few of this world, just want to serve." Ramanacharya says, "You enter into Grihastha ashram, practice your devotional service properly." That is the beauty of Lord's form, that is the beauty of Lord's lotus feet. And Lord is abhavaya, without birth or death. And what he does to us, What is the benefit? This Bhavachidam. He delivers us from material existence. And he is connected to the Maya in the sense his product, it's his energy, Yuktam. And at the same time, he is Virahitam, is aloof from the Maya. Hearing all this, I mean, after this, Kuvera asked Dhruva, asked for a benediction. So we see this general trend in Bhagavatam. There is a one person they meet, and the superior person, gives darshan, and he does not go without giving something. So Vedic culture is all about giving. Vedic culture is all about serving. Vedic culture is all about not me, it's about us or others. So Kuvera gives darshan. Kuvera has just lost so many of Yaksha. He's not thinking in those terms. See, Kuvera might have thought, see, I am not angry with him. I have, forgotten what all Dhruva has done. But at least a person who has lost so many of his army, Yakshas, the people whom Kuvera is the leader, at least will not ask kuch mango, ask for benediction. That is the least which Dhruva expected. But see the compassion of Kuvera, he says, ask for something. He says that we have heard that you are constantly engaged in loving service of the Lord's lotus feet. One has to understand that one who is engaged in the Lord's lotus feet or any of the ISKCON temples or centers who is connected to the deities or the home deities and is directly serving them daily, he has got all the benedictions which any demigod can offer. All the benedictions are within his reach. And Dhruva, what should he ask? He has everything. Now one has to understand that Kuvera is a treasure of demigods. I thought I have been gone to Tirupati, and it's very much there in the folks and very much there in the Shastras that Tirupati has taken a huge loan to Lord Balaji from Kuvera during his marriage. And he was not from a very opulent family, and he had married a daughter of a king from that area, Tirupati area, Tirupati, Andhra. And he still debt paying. So who all devotees, you can say EMI, kind of EMI. So who all devotees who go to Balaji, Tirupati Balaji, they have obligation to put money. It's not just out of love, because Lord in a transcendental pastime is in trouble. In the sense that he has to repay. He has to repay all the debt. And he's doing that. And devotees come, and you may wonder, I was speaking to one of the pujaris there, and he said that there are thousands of business partners of Balaji. What does it mean? There are thousands of business partners of Balaji. That means that every industrious person or entrepreneur or a person is doing business, he considers that some part of Maya has to be given to the Lord. It may be out of love, it may be out of many things, it may be out of sheer greed to earn more. But at least in India, there is a tradition, they understand that some part has to be given to the Lord. There's a yuga wherein people were so religious, that's called Satyuga. Whatever they had, they used to offer it to the Lord. When there was a glani, there was decline in religious principles, and the Vesayu started, and they used to draw a huge circle of 10-meter radius. And whatever Lakshmi they had, whatever dhana they had, they used to throw up in the sky. So whatever used to fall inside was for their own, living, for their own consumption. And whatever falls outside the circle was for the Lord's service. One has to understand where they should go. That's not a rocket science. Next, there's a further declining religious principles, dharma. Dwapari started, and people started running on a straight line. Whatever they had, they used to throw up in the air. Whatever falls on the right side is for the Lord's service. Whatever falls on the left side is for service of Lord. We understand where they used to throw. And then the religious principles with Kali Yuga, this Iron Age, is such that people's mentality is such that whatever dhana, whatever wealth they have, they throw all up in the air, and they declare if Lord has played cricket or if Lord has played baseball, we'll catch it. And that is how if he'll get whatever he wants for his service, and rest all is for me. So Kuvera had everything which could have been given, but he does not ask for dharma, artha. He does not ask for artha. which is everyone is behind. He asks for Panchama Purushartha, that is unflinching devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And one more thing one has to understand is, the Kumera was not an unacknowledged devotee. Now, when in Srimad Bhagavatam we hear these terms like Kumera was not unacknowledged devotee, Indra is not the devotee as like a Bharat Bhakta. It's a fact of life, but one should not denigrate or one should not feel that they are lesser devotees. They are very great devotees, but only when we are speaking about pure sense of Vrindavan, when we compare to the devotees of Vrindavan, then this comparative study is there to understand the glories of the Brajvasis, not to make these people less like Kuvera or Indra or someone. So in that sense, but just understanding the rasa or the bhakti perspective, Dhruva was more advanced than Kuvera. Still Dhruva, bends before him, bows before him, and he asks for benediction. Just because there was in his mind, in the 11th chapter you might have read, 34th verse, he says that the wrath of great personalities may affect your family or our family. Dhruva says. So great personalities, when we should never ever criticize or bring wrath or anger of great personalities in our life. We should always be serving them. We should always be, hearing them and trying to follow their instructions. That is the best part to be done. And Dhruva, all the more advanced than, Dhruva, all the more advanced than Kuvera, still he does that duty to perfection. Next, Kuvera gladly offers all the benediction which he had asked for and returns back to his kingdom. From the verse 10 to 16, which I think we'll be able to complete this section only from the verse 10 to 16, maybe in the next class we can continue further whenever we get a chance. Dhruva's glorious rule and renunciation is there. I mean, how he ruled the earth and finally retired. The 10th verse, he performed a lot of sacrifices. Vedic culture means sacrifice. Whether it is yajna, whether it is personal life. You see any example, if human life is meant for sacrifices, human life is meant for austerity, human life is meant for serving others. More advanced the person is, more the Aryan he claims himself to be, the more he will be detached to. So the Varnashram system was mostly based on sacrifice. And the topmost sacrifice will be performed by the topmost people known as Brahmana Sannyasis. They had got all the respect from the earth when the person can ever even desire the fame and the respect, everything they had. But that was based because they were detached from this world. The more the person is detached from this world, the Vedic custom, the Vedic culture tells, the more he is to be respected. But just because things have turned around so dramatically in the Kali Yuga, especially in 21st century, the more a person has wealth, the more a person higher the position in a material, ladder is, the more he is respected. So, I was hearing Srila Prabhupada say every Monday we have morning Srimad Bhagavatam class by Srila Prabhupada in Gaur. I was hearing a class and therein Srila Prabhupada mentions about Ithyasa. And he tells that Ithyasa is not just a mythology, or the Purana is not just a mythology, it's an age-old history. And he goes on to mention further that Varnashram was made in such a way that every person who more or less is born Shudra, when a person is born, is made to elevate gradually from the Shudra level to the Brahmana level. And he said the movement of Hare Krishna movement or the International Society for Krishna Consciousness is to bring people to the Brahminical culture. The Brahminical culture does not mean in the terms of what many of the media shows. It is in the sense that he has Sama, Dhamma, he is clean, he is merciful. So all the qualities which are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita of the Brahmanas, so those qualities have to be imbibed, those qualities have to be taught. And Vedic culture system is such that a person, even if he is a Chandala or even anyone, the glory of the holy name is such that person can be elevated to the level of Brahmana or more than that to become a Mahabhagavata. We hear in this very past time the Guru of Dhruva Maharaj. The Guru of Dhruva Maharaj, he was just, if I were to say, if I have the privilege of using that word, he was just a person who used to entertain in Gandharva, entertain in the heavenly planets. And he gets, cursed and he has to come down. He becomes a son of a Shudrani. Then he gets the appreciation of Bhakti Vedanta, the pure devotees. and thus you have a perfect challenge. And thus he becomes the greatest devotee on the earth. We have ever seen. And Narad Muni, if you read Srimad Bhagavatam, he has so many disciples whose name is there in the Bhagavatam. The great Prahlad, so many great people. So I'll just conclude by saying the 11th verse, that is 11th and 12th verse. 11th verse, he says that Bhakti unto Lord Achyuta is the highest thing, and everyone should try to aspire for. And in the 12th verse, Guru Maharaj qualities are given, which every king should aspire for, and which every leader or a person who is on a leading position in any form or any ISKCON level, whatever it is. It is first line says, Tamo evam Sheela Sampanam, endowed with all good qualities. The first quality one person should have is, a leader should have is godly quality. Next is Brahmanyam Dina Daksanam. He should be respectful to the Brahmanas. In our context of ISKCON, respectful to all the devotees who are senior devotees. And then kind to the poor. In the ISKCON context, kind to the poor means who have just come new, who are very new in our society, who are just joining. We should be very kind, we should be accommodative, we should try to make them feel comfortable, nice ambience should be given to them. That means basically they have to be selfless. Then there is Goptaram Dharma Setuna. He should be protector of religious principles. And last is protector of religious principles means one should take, if one is that some, some counselor, mentor or whatever level is trying to serve devotees, should see to is that a person is given all the facilities where he can practice the four religious principles. One can easily speak about four religious principles and give lectures, hundreds of lectures on that. But if a person is not given the facility to practice, especially in the Western world, if person is very difficult to get, if person is finding it difficult to get prasad, the devotee have to outreach or devotee have to go out of the way to give prasadam or provide some facility to the devotee so that he can continue. And last is Menera Pitaram Prajaha, considered as father by the citizens. A fatherly person does not have to be a very senior person. It is just giving protection. So when I hear these qualities, and I'll tell that and I'll end the class, is that this shloka when I hear, just few days back there was Maharashtra we celebrated Shivaji Maharaj appearance day, whatever you may call it. First Prabhupada also mentions it, and I heard some very senior devotees that he was a very powerful personality. He could create such a wonderful revolution across India when it was being attacked by the atrocious Mughal kings. And it's not that he just was like the person who's old and powerful, very chivalrous. That's there. One of the great qualities he attracts from Shivaji Maharaj is endowed with all good qualities. He was ready to give up all his kingdom. He was ready to give us everything and just surrender his life to Tukaram Maharaj and perfect his life singing bhajan of Lord Vithal and Pandurang and go back to Godhead. Such are the qualities of the great kings which have ruled the earth. It's not that Guru Maharaj Katha and Satyuga, Kaliga, it is not practical, we cannot do that. There were kings just 500 years, 600 years back, 400 years back, 300 years back, 200 years back. There were kings ruling in India who were very devoted to God. And we still have rulers, we still have leaders across the world who can take these qualities, and then definitely this Kunta world, there is a possibility within this Kunta world, we can try a little bit to make this feelable or some glimpse of what is Vaikuntha. I'd like to thank all of you for patiently hearing me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful class. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Please come. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's a lot of information. Very, very instructive, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Nice class. Is there any question or comment for Prabhuji?
My health was little not so well, so I was not little louder. Please forgive me. I was going through a lot of fever. So please forgive me if my voice was not audible.
No, Prabhu, it was perfect, Prabhu. Yes.
Any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji, Dandapana.
Please accept my humble obeisance, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, thank you, Prabhu, for a nice explanation of this chapter overview and also the different aspects you glorified good qualities. One question I have is about the Falasruti portion you touched on.
Yeah.
We know that in first canto, Srimad Bhagavatham tells that Srimad Bhagavatham is a purest scripture, is not related, it doesn't give cheating religion, it doesn't focus on dharma, kama, like that. But then in several sections, including this section, the Falasruti talks about those instead of only talking about. Of course, Falasruti also included pure bhakti, but other things it talks about. I was wondering why that is and how do we take it when we hear that?
See, one has to understand that Vedic culture is not exclusively Krishna, it is conclusively Krishna. What I mean to say is, pure devotional service to Lord is the highest thing, which Bhagavatam performs, no doubt about it. But at the same time, Shastras are meant to bring as many as people closer to this Vedic path. It's kind of like, you can say, a big advertisement. Correct? All kinds of people, if someone is aspiring for, even for demigods' benedictions, hear this Guru Katha. Like for simple example, last month, all the people on the earth, in India, they were all like reading Bhagavatam. In that month, Bhagavatam is distributed, Bhagavatam is spoken, lots of Bhagavad Katha is done. So in India, a lot of Bhagavad Katha are done for different things. So what I understand, it may not be a correct thing, and it's my personal opinion, it's that one has to ultimately understand that from the position of atheistic person to the position of Braj Bhakti, Bhagavatam tries to attract each and every soul whoever falls in this category at different levels. Yes, it is for devotees who are like Paramahamsas, no doubt about it. What does it mean it is for Paramahamsas? It means that even Paramahamsas, when they hear this, they relish it. That is what it means. But it's not that it will not attract other people. So seeing that thing, Srila Vedvyas and the Acharyas, they mention that all the Vedic scriptures are meant ultimately to rest. The basic purpose of the whole material creation is to rescue the souls who are trapped in this world and take them back home, back to Godhead. So, some advertisements or some perks, you mean to say, if I am correct to use the word perk, or something which is like, you can say, a toffee to a kid, has to be given so that at least he starts hearing. If you see, even Dhruva's whole pastime, he started from a point where he wanted a loka or a planet which is higher than Brahmaji. So he also started from the material thing only. But gradually, by the association of great devotee, and especially meeting Narad Muni, that was a transformative time. And when he saw the darshan of Chaturbhuj Lord Vishnu, and when he does the conch on his head, the whole thing got transformed. So I believe, or I understand this thing, why it is given. Mostly it is for all the living entities from whatever n number of backgrounds they may be coming from, just get attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what I feel. You may add or...
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for...
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just now in your answer, you made some connection between atheists and Paramahamsas. I didn't catch the point right there.
Okay. What I was trying to... I just have to clarify that point, right, Mataji?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
What I was trying to say is...
Okay. What I was trying to say is, Vedic scriptures in general, Vedic scriptures in general, or any scripture in general, which are religious textbooks, are meant for any kind of human being to somehow or the other, by reading some section of the scriptures, because everyone has different kind of nature, to get attracted to the divinity. And from the Vedic perspective, there are Puranas which are in the mentioning about Devi Devatas, different Devi Devatas, which are people who are in the mode of ignorance. They get attracted to that kind of worship. There are people who are in Rajogun passion. They get attracted to certain kind of Puranas or certain kind of deities. And people who are in Satogun mostly get attracted to Vishnu worship or Krishna worship. So, within Vedic scriptures, the things are classified in a sense that all the people who have left Lord's world or who are rotting in this material world have to be taken back home, back to Godhead. The whole purpose of Vedic scriptures, at a very first place, of course, it is a delight for Paramahamsa. Of course, the Bhagavatam is for great souls. But at the same time, it also attracts, or it has also been compiled in a certain way by giving Falashruti from the verse 44 to 52nd of this chapter, of the 12th chapter of the 4th canto, wherein a lot of other benedictions or the verse, you'll get the blessings of demigod is mentioned, is to attract such kind of people who are looking for benedictions of demigods. See, whatever background one may be from. What I was trying to say is, everyone can attract to the Vedic scriptures. Even in the Vedic context, even if a person was atheist, if a person is atheist, still the verse, there is that person, I forgot his name, a Muni was an atheist. He used to say that, whatever may be life, borrow, steal, or do whatever, but eat ghee. Somehow or the other, people are connected to cow, or in the sense, some part of Vedic culture. So that's what I was trying to mention there. Scriptures are meant to attract each and everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I did get that point. It was just one sentence that you had said, but I'm not able to repeat it. That made me wonder. But yeah, that point had been made clear. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes. Prabhu, in the translation it mentioned, probably you have covered, but I may have missed. He diminished the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment. So here, enjoyment is not is it material or spiritual? What is that? Could you clarify that?
Yeah. See, which means actually in anyone's life, the dharma of the kama moksha, or a person when he does proper dharma, it's like a generic sense. So person will naturally have some requirement for artha, and from artha he will fulfill his desires. So a person, due to his baggage or due to his good karma in previous life, will definitely get a lot of opportunities where, even if it is sense enjoyment, which is not against the breaking of rules or something. Like for example, in our movement or whatever we are practicing, in that there are many times there is a lot of prasadam, there's a lot of sweets which we eat, a lot of things which are there which are offered to the Lord, and then we enjoy it. One has to understand is that one should not overdo it. So he, for 36,000 years, he lived on the earth. So whatever came to him, he did enjoy that. There is no over endeavor of trying to achieve some goal. So Dhruva Maharaj did not over endeavor for those kind of whatever enjoyment we are trying. He has diminished the reactions of pious activity. So it's both, in the sense he's a pure devotee, no doubt about it. And it's mentioned that his aspiration was for serving the Lord's lotus feet, especially after he met the Lord in the forest. But because he's living on the earth, so those things have to be passed. Like we see great acharyas also, when they are on the earth, the different pastimes they perform, they are from the spiritual world, but they also go through the cycle of this material world. Even Krishna has to go through that. Similarly, that happened with the Dhruv Maharaj's life also. So whatever came into his life of his own accord, he enjoyed it. He did not over endeavor or left his devotional life on the side and try to get. What is the problem with the material sense enjoyment or thing is, when we endeavor to achieve something and when we want to take that object and we keep our devotional life aside or the perfection or the paramartha aside and try to get this earth. So paramartha, if it is in the center, and whatever by the destiny we get in our life, which is within the boundary of the religious codes of Vedic culture, I mean, even if it is what we see from this sense, he diminishes the reactions of pious activities by enjoyment. It does not make a person sinful. That's what I believe. Question. Very well.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I had one more question, Prabhu. So, like I was reading through the purport,
Yeah.
there's a mention of something.
Yes, sir.
Prabhupada mentions.
Yes.
Prabhupada
Yes.
mentions that.
Yeah.
Sorry. 13th.
Yes, this purport?
Yeah, 13th. Yeah, 13th
Okay.
verse, Prabhu. Yeah. So, put
Yes,
the last sentences. Basically, Prabhupada explains that devotee undergoes process of austerities like fasting and Ekadasi and other auspicious days and following the 4 regulated principles. And the key statement I noticed is thus he becomes purified from the reactions of his past impious life. That portion. So I want to confirm something I'm thinking. We hear many times about how devotion service, when we are doing it to please Krishna, that is akarma. And that means that once both the reactions, positive reactions, negative reactions, that means the reactions that which will give enjoyment or reactions that will give distress, like that we heard in the past. And then now Prabhupada is making this statement here specifically about the fasting and other austerities devotees perform. So I was connecting those two. I don't know if it's the right connection or not. That's what I wanted to clarify with you. This is one way of how karma burns the negative reactions. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, this is one of the way. That's basically burning of impious life or burning of our bad karma is just a byproduct of devotional life. It's not the main ingredient. When we go for drinking sugarcane, what we want is sugarcane juice. So whatever falls out is just a byproduct side. So the bad karma will definitely be vanished if you perform devotional life perfectly and focus on chanting, hearing, and everything. Those things will be taken care. And it is, of course, it is connected in the sense that it's mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that first sign of devotional life is the distresses goes away and the material pangs which are giving so many miseries, they go away. And the Shubhada comes in life. A lot of fortune and auspiciousness comes in your life. That's what it is.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much for you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there any comment or question from Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam Bhashti Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Very nice class, Prabhuji, and very nicely you explained. So, Prabhuji, you were talking about the Bhagavad Gita. So, it's what like in personally they think about that, like that you were explaining, Prabhuji. So, what is you are trying to explain?
Yeah. I was trying to explain.
The different names are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita for Arjuna and for Krishna.
Yeah. Right. Should I clarify that point?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. What I was trying to say is that many of, as you see, we had a lot of great Vaishnava acharyas like Ramanujacharya, Nimbarkacharya, Vishnu Swami, Madhvacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself. But still, the Mayavad or the impersonalism is very deep rooted in India. In the sense, that Shankaracharya did service which was whatever service he had been given, he overperformed it. His devotee is very enthusiastic to perform services. Mayavad is there everywhere. So the most of the commentators, when they write about Bhagavad Gita commentary, they mention that first of all they mention that Lord's room, Nama, Rupa, Gun, Lila are all products of Maya. Very illusory. Brahman is highest. So if Brahman is highest, why one Brahman, Arjuna, has to mention 33 different names of other Brahman? That is Krishna. And while Krishna has to mention 20 different names of other Brahman, that is Arjuna. So it can be done in one name also. If ultimately name has no value in the sense of name has no strength, name has nothing to do with this, it is not Parabrahma, it is not spiritual. So I was trying to say that they say that in Gita, Gita's purpose, the Mayavadis say that Gita's purpose is to bring a person like Arjuna from illusion to the realization of from their sense that he can also become God or Brahmarila, whatever they want to say. So the point I was trying to drive was, if they feel that the purpose of Gita is to bring person from illusion to this, and they say holy name is illusion, or the name, Lord's name is a product of illusion, then why 33 different names are used in one literature, which is meant for bringing people out of illusion? That itself defeats the purpose of what they are trying to say. Lord's name are powerful, Lord's name is spiritual, Lord's name is not of this material world, neither is Rupa, neither is Guna, neither is Leela. That's what I was trying to say. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very nice. Nice.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji. Go.
Yeah, no comment or question. We can end the call. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your association.
Thank you so much for giving me service. Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namah.
Vaishnavendra
की जय. ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् की जय. Thank you all.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Space. Krishna Gaur Prabhu ki jai.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Recording started. Hare Krishna.
This session is no longer being recorded.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Goodbye.
Okay.